Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome to another Marvel Champions the card game unboxing. This is for the hero pack for Magneto. Nice, fun addition to the rest of the X-Men and a cool way to round out the X-Men like arc or cycles of characters. We've had a bunch of them. This is typically always known as a villain, but he's been a hero for the last couple of years. It's also a fun way to end off the Age of Apocalypse storyline because he was a hero in that. And then next cycle starts off, we'll be jumping to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which should be really fun. We get Nick Fury and Maria Hill to start with. And then we'll see what other cool characters get added to that. We'll tie into maybe some of the old stuff as well. So yeah, definitely cool there. So let's go ahead and hop in. Of course, we're going to get our obligatory poster. And then we're going to go through some of the quick updated keywords. Now, if you've been watching all the other videos, lots of these are probably familiar. But in case you haven't been checking out the rest of them, I like hop in and talk about them a little bit. So the new player card is this player side schemes. I'm not going to read all of this for you. Hold it up and you can kind of read it if you'd like. But basically what they are is they have the side schemes that would normally come out for villains, which you have to use thwarting and remove threat from them to get rid of them. Player ones are ones that are now in their deck. You play them as a regular card per your cost, then they come out, and once they're on the board, they're considered a side scheme for any other intents and purposes. They're targeted by same as any other scheme. Anything that triggers or plays off of them, they work as schemes. But the difference is that they typically don't have a negative effect on you. Like most side schemes, they're like, oh, you can't do this, or they increase this thing, or they do this thing. They are just in there to kind of like, as an idea of your character having something else you have to do beside the main thing. Maybe go rescue someone or go handle this side object. Other things that are distracting your heroes other than the main quest that aren't directly tied to it. But they usually have really powerful bonuses for beating them. Usually either draw a card or get an extra special card or get to play something for free. So they're really helpful to have. Now you can only have one or two in play depending on the number of players. So you can't, every player, if you're playing a 4-player game, can't be dropping 5, 6 of these out and then just finding ways to deal with them. You have to deal with them one at a time, but it's kind of a neat little extra thing. Then we also have featured keyword, linked to a card title. Cards with a linked keyword cannot be included in a player's deck. Instead, you're set aside at the beginning of the game. If any player's deck includes a card that brings linked cards into play, indicated to the parentheses, linked cards do not count towards the minimum total. So these kind of, so those will sit out and there will be something that says when this card is played or defeated or something, then you get access to these other cards. Lots of these show up in like the campaigns. Usually like if you defeat a campaign, you defeat a certain villain, or you defeat one of their schemes or whatever, you get something. And we have some cards in this deck that are like that too. Some keywords, we have steady. Character steady can have one additional stun status card and one additional confused card. Character is not stunned unless they have 2, and not confused unless they have 2 status cards. After a character's activation is replaced by a status card effect, move all status cards to the type of that character. So just extra stuff in there. Villainous. When a minion without Villainous activates, give it a face-down boost card from the top of the encounter deck. When you resolve that minion's activation, turn the boost face up, resolve any boost ability, and apply it. So basically, they're just more deadly villains. You always need more of those. Featured keyword is Victory X. When a card with a Victory X keyword is defeated, place it in the Victory display instead of its owner's discard pile. With a Victory display, X indicates how many victory points the card is worth. So this kind of works in two things. There might be something at the end of the game or something that might reference if you have X number of points in the victory, or if you win, if you've achieved so many of this. But it's also a way to like make this card a little bit more powerful, because once it's defeated or used up, it's out of your deck, out of your deck and discard pile, so you have no way of accessing it again. And then we have Magneto. He's going to be a leadership. He's going to use his magnetic ability. And we'll hop in and we'll just look at that. I don't usually read into those too much, because I like to just see what the characters do. So we're going to go start off right away with our good old friend Magneto, who has 2 thwart, 2 attack, 2 defense. So he's pretty solid all around. Hand size of 5, hit points of 10. Again, pretty mid, right in the middle of everything. He doesn't excel one direction or the other, but he's not weak either, which is a good stable character to have. He has the X-Men keyword Magnetic Pull action. Discard from the top of your deck until a magnetic card is discarded. Add that card to your hand, limit once per round. I do not need to defend my decisions. Yes, this is really cool ability. So a lot of his personal deck will have the magnetic card traits. So it's basically a way for him to get his cards out. And the more you would, if you, I don't know if we're going to have too many other cards outside of his, any other aspect cards. He'll generally have magnetic, since he'll be the only person that'll really affect by him. But yeah, it's just basically just a way for him to be able to find his cards whenever he needs them. If we flip to his alter ego, we have Eric Lensher, which then they could have named him a zillion different things. They could have called him Magnus or destroy anything else. But it's 3 recovery. Hand size goes up to 6. Alter ego, just a mutant. Survivor, response. After you change to this form, shuffle the top 3 cards of your discard pile into your deck. So this works really well with his other ability. So you can just go ahead, magnetic pull, discard cards. You discard 2 cards, great. You discard 5 cards, okay. Because then you can flip them over, you can get them cards back. If you only discarded 1 or 2, or up to 3 cards, and you found that as the 4th one, so you only 3 go in your discard pile, you get all 3 of them cards back, no loss. If you discarded 1 or 2, you might actually net some cards you've used back into play, which is really cool. Could even be the one you just pulled out and played. If you somehow get unlucky and you do like 5 or 6, it might take a couple of these times of recruiting and going back to get your deck back up, but you can definitely just spend a couple of turns doing that if you need to. All that I've endured and everything I've done was all to preserve mutant kind. So cool. That's really neat way. So basically, discard to find your cards, and flip them over, get your cards back. Whether it's cards you used or cards you discarded. So even if you don't use his other ability, you could just play a bunch of cards, flip them over, and then get those 3 cards back into your deck. Very cool. Alright, we're going to set him off to the side in case we want to look at him again. His first signature card is Asteroid M. I love that almost every X-Men character came with their own location. 2 cost support, a location, and magnetic. Alter ego action. Exhaust Asteroid M, shuffle the topmost magnetic card in your discard pile into your deck, and heal 1 damage from your identity. It took considerable effort to rebuild my home. Let's not destroy it again. Oh, this is cool. So you get your alter action. You already put 3 cards back in. Here it lets you take the next card you can find there, put it back in your deck, and you get a heal as well. So it's a double dose of that. So now you have 4 cards and an extra heal. That's really awesome. Magnetic Helmet. 3 cost upgrade. Armor and magnetic. Magneto gains steady, so now he can have 2 confused or 2 stunned. Resource. Exhaust Magneto's helmet. Generate a wild resource for a magnetic card. Magneto's helmet protects him from telepathic attacks. Great. Resource generator, always great. Works for magnetic cards, which again, almost all of his deck is going to be magnetic cards. You're finding them quicker, which really helps as well. Plus, it's magnetic as well, so you can try and pull that out right away or as quickly as you need to. Magneto's armor. 2 cost upgrade, armor and magnetic. Response, after you resolve your magnetic pull ability, if you discard at least 1 of the following resource icons, if it's a genius, Magneto gains a thwart this round. If it's a fighting, Magneto gains 1 attack this round, and if it's energy, he gains 1 defense. So although it is random, you could potentially get all 3 of these. I think it's if you discard at least 1 of the following icons. So if you discard 3 genius, you still only get 1 thwart. But it doesn't. Ups all is potentially you could discard 3 cards. Or discard top cards of your decks until you find your magnetic. You could potentially get up to 3 extra stats. Not super helpful. But one way to also look at this is... it just shuffles it back into your deck. Okay, I was thinking to put it back on the top. I was like, that'd be very nice manipulation. But yeah, extra stat boost isn't bad. Might determine what you need to do during the tournament. Cool. His third equipment is Magneto's cape, 2-cost upgrade, armor, and magnetic. He has a magnetic cape. He gains the aerial trait response after resolve magnetic pull ability, exhaust Magneto's cape to ready Magneto. So that's cool. He can't use it again. He can't use the ability because it's still once per turn. He doesn't exhaust to use it to begin with, but it basically he can attack or defend his turn, and then he can magnetic pull, and then he can exhaust and be ready to attack or defend again. And again, if you have your cape out or your armor out, you could potentially have the extra I got the attack once. Maybe I had defense. Now you can defend as well. So really cool. Alright, then we have another upgrade. Magnetic Bubble, 3-cost upgrade. Magnetic and Superpower. He gains Retaliate 1, so if they hit him, does damage back. Force Interrupt. When you would take any amount of damage, place it here. Then if there's at least 6 damage here, discard Magnetic Bubble. So he has great ways to recover. Three recovery on his Ultra Ego is not maybe the best, but he also has his Asteroid M, which can help heal him. But you also just drop this down. Go ahead and do it. But then he has enough cards to get this back into his deck, and he has ways to dig through his deck, so he might be able to keep pulling out a Magnetic Bubble every couple of turns. 2 copies of Wrapped in Metal. And I love he's attacking one of the Horsemen of War, I believe it would be. 2-cost upgrade, Magnetic Hero Form only. Attached to a non-elite minion. That minion cannot activate. Treat its printed text box as if it were blank. Your power is no match for the master of magnetism. Welcome to die. He needed a card that said that. Yeah, so this is actually a pretty solid card as well. You can only use it in hero form, but that's not bad. I think Magneto's going to spend a lot of time in hero form. But yeah, just shutting off a non-elite minion's text box is going to be very powerful. I just want to see if we have one here. So, like, just as a quick one, just a quick 2 here. I don't want to show them off too much, but we have Frenzy and Fabian Cortez, who have Quick Strike and Guard. Those are both 2 abilities that you probably want to shut off, so they can't do extra damage to you, or they're not keeping you from doing something else. Basically, you can be like, I'm going to put you minions over here so I can deal with the main threat. 2 copies of Electromagnetic Blast. 2-cost event, Magnetic Superpower and Thwart. Hero action to thwart. Remove 3 threat from a scheme. If this removes the last threat from that scheme, you may discard an attachment with the text hero action or hero response. So, if you remove the last threat from a scheme, you may discard an attachment with the text hero action or hero response. Interesting. So, one thing I could do is I'm trying to see what we would have that would work with. That's all attack. Ooh. Action. I'm not 100% sure how this would work as of this moment. I'm going to guess there's something that we're going to need to do with that. I'm not for sure what that would work with off the top of my head. I wonder if it's like an attachment that gets attached to your character. Like a treachery card, but it could be an attachment they would attach to your guy, and then it would be like, oh, you have to do this to get rid of it. I'm assuming that's what that's for. But there's some other ones that it might actually be doing. Discarding attachment. Yeah, to be having an attachment would be a villain card. There wasn't any in this deck for me to point out. But I'm assuming that's the idea of it, right? Is there one in this set here? Let me check here. No, these are all treachery, so I don't have an attachment here. But yeah, it's probably so if like an opponent plays something that would like seal off your stuff with kind of like to defend against you and hold you down or something, you can go ahead and basically can magnetic blast to remove it. But that's cool, right? Move some threats, but it might let you get rid of a bad condition you have on you. We have 2 costs of Metal Shards, 3 cost event, attack magnetic superpower, hero action, attack, deal 7 damage to an enemy. If this attack defeats the enemy, gain a tough status card. Really cool, that's helpful. The way to defend mutants is to defeat our enemies. 7 damage is nice, but you also get a tough status card. That's pretty fun. 2 copies of Magnetic Missile instead of Magic Missile. And there he is, wrapped up war. He's throwing them at Pestilence. I believe that's Pestilence. 1 cost event Magnetic Superpower. Hero action, discard a minion with wrapped in metal attack. Deal 5 damage to an enemy and stun it. This is a little bit more limited one because it requires the other card to even be usable. But it does 5 damage and it stuns another enemy. So you're getting rid of that minion that you already wrapped up, and then now you're doing damage to another enemy and you're stunning it if it doesn't kill it. And the fact that since Magneto can search through his deck pretty easily, I don't think it's be too big of a deal to find that other card. And then if you have like your helmet out, you can actually pay for that for free. Then its last 2 cards are resource cards. He has Master of Magnetism, which is also magnetic. Magneto's power renders conventional firearms useless against him. So this just generates 2 resources. Doesn't do any other special abilities, but the fact is, again, it's one of these, every single one of his cards has magnetic. He can find this card, so he can find a resource which gives him extra symbols. So that's pretty cool. So you can find the wrapped in metal, throw that at, make a missile and throw that at somebody else. He can use the bubble to take defense, deal his different armors, equipment to set himself up to become stronger. Uses magnetism to get extra resources to play this stuff quicker. His helmet lets him play stuff quicker, especially because if he's constantly drawing more cards. Boost up your stats. Shut down an enemy. And then this one, of course, I think, again, you're going to either do some damage with the one, and gain a status card, or you're going to remove some threat, but then this hero action, hero response will let you get rid of nasty enchantments. And it doesn't say it even has to be attached to you, so you could help out one of your teammates. They have something attached to them that's tying them down. You can help get rid of them. I wish I had one of those other cards on me right at the moment, but I don't, so I can't show that off. Alright, let's hop into his second part of his deck. He is a leadership, so he's going to get some awesome cards. I like the idea of his leadership because he's getting almost a bunch of leaders to go with him. So we have M here, Monette St. Croix, famously for Generation X, and then she's part of X Factor, and then she kind of starts standing on her own. So she has a 4-cost ally, 2 thwart, and 3 attack. Psionic X-Men with 4 health. Response: after M enters play, defeat a minion with fewer remaining hit points than M. So she gets to come in and take out anyone that's 4 or less for free. She's just what she does. I don't mind being a bull in a china shop. And her attack does have that consequential damage of 2, but she's a nice little powerhouse. And then we have Kid Omega, Quentin Queer, 2-cost ally, 2 thwart, 2 attack, Psionic X-Men with 2 health, and brings Cyclops back. He's also had a Magneto's right shirt as well before. Powerful psychic. Response: after Kid Omega enters play, choose to either spend an energy resource to deal 1 damage to each enemy, or spend a genius resource to remove 1 threat from each scheme. Cool. And if you really weren't sure which one to do, Magneto's resource there, his Master of Magnetism. Oh look, it has both options, so you can do whatever you want. So that's kind of helpful as well. If you only to deal 1 damage to everybody or 1 threat, that can get you closer to using Magneto's abilities to finish stuff off. And then we get Phoenix, Jean Grey, 3-cost ally, 2 thwart, 1 attack, Psionic X-Men, and 3 health. Response: after Phoenix enters play, choose an X-Men ally, ready that ally, and heal 1 damage from it. So this can work really well with Monette, right? M, you have her come in, she can do some stuff, and then Phoenix can come in and help her. Joining the X-Men means joining a family. It means you're never truly alone. It has to be an X-Men ally, so she can't help Magneto. Then we have Cyclops, Scott Summers. 3 cost ally, 2 thwart, 2 attack, X-Men, and 2 health. So the only non-psionic member of this group. Response: after Cyclops enters play, choose an enemy until the end of the phase. Increase the amount of damage that enemy takes by each attack by 1. To me, my X-Men. So I also love about this is because I don't know if we would have seen an M. Probably not seen a deck from her anytime in the near future. Quentin, he could have possibly been one I may have seen as an extra character, but there's so many other iconic X-Men first. But both Cyclops and Jean Grey have had their own decks, but they were each other's signature allies. So it's nice to get them in another aspect so you can play them with anybody else. So now you could have Cyclops, Phoenix, and team up with Wolverine if Wolverine plays a leadership deck. So that's pretty fun. Or Quentin as well. He teams up with Wolverine an awful lot. Alright, we have 3 copies of I Won't Stay Down with good old Kitty Pryde there. 1 cost support, a condition. Play only if your identity has the X-Force or X-Men trait. Max 1 per player. Alter Ego action. Discard this card, return X-Force or an X-Men ally from your discard pile to your hand. Nice. So this is just going to let you... we already have Magneto playing with his discard pile in general. This is going to kind of help you out there as well. You're going to be able to pull one of these cards out and be able to play one of your allies again. So Magneto, teaming up with Magneto here, or just in general the leadership cards, you can keep bringing back your X-Men or X-Force ally cards repeatedly. Which then makes stuff like Monette having double consequential damage not that big of a deal. Let her hit someone twice for 3 and then come back. And then she can drop in, take out another minion. 3 copies of Squared Off, 0 cost event, tactic, hero action. Discard cards from the encounter deck until you discard a minion. Put that minion into play, engage with you. Play an ally from your hand, reducing its cost by 3. Let's do this. Awesome. That's a cool thing. Get your allies in for cheaper, get a minion right on top of them, and then, that minion can go ahead and hopefully maybe just take them out. Or give you the extra bonus and you, drop in Quentin, right? Just by looking at our four ones here. If you drop in Cyclops, right? Also now he's free. Choose an enemy, turn that enemy's cheaper. He just brought that guy in, he's cheaper to fight. Bring in Phoenix. Great, you have a new enemy, but now you have an ally ready to attack or defend them, and you can heal damage from them. You bring in K Omega. Again, for free with this card. He's going to be able to deal 1 damage to that guy, plus everybody else, or maybe remove some threats. Or you just, bring in M. She's now going to cost 1, but she can come in, and potentially if she has 4, she could just almost straight up defeat that guy. So that might even be a good combo there. You just pull a guy out, drop M for 1, hit 1 at cost, and then boom, defeats that guy. He's out of the way, plus you have M in play. So really, really cool. 3 copies of Noble Sacrifice with X23 there. 1 cost event, tactic, hero action. Discard an ally you control. Heal damage from your hero equal to that ally's printed hit points and give your hero a tough status card. Don't wait for me, go. Ooh, that's fun too. We already showed we have a way to bring guys back from the discard pile with the stand card. We have a way to bring allies in quick and cheap. So this is a good way to then basically Magneto using his allies as an additional resource and then sacrifice them. Sacrifice them to this, heal yourself. They've taken a couple of damage, they're about to be defeated. Get rid of them. Use the other card to bring them back into play. Or play the other card to bring another one into play really cheap. So really fun, kind of like synergy all around there. Then we have 3 copies of You Got This. 1 cost event, tactic. Hero response. After you exhaust your hero to make a basic thwart or attack, discard an ally you control. Add that ally's matching power to your power for this turn, ready your hero. So again, using an ally as a resource to make you a little bit more powerful. So just teaming up with them for a single massive attack. So could be really cool. You get a guy out, you just be especially if they have a coming to play ability, maybe M. Use your coming to play ability, take out a minion, or Jean Grey comes in, she heals a guy, right? raise them, and then now I can just go ahead and get rid of her now. Have her do the stat. Have her do have her join me with an attack, give me an extra boost to take out a bigger guy, and then come back around and do something else. Or summon them with one card, bind them, put them into play with the minion. If they can't take them in, you can attack them. It's a big guy, sacrifice them, and you can maybe reuse them. So that's pretty fun as well. Awesome. Then the last one we have is we have our player side scheme for this this mission. We have new recruits. So it says, the dream of every student at Xavier's is to join the X-Men. So there's some of the new mutants. Victory 0. So play only if your identity has the X-Men trait. When defeated, each player who chooses one set aside new ally and adds it to their hand. So this is actually a really fun one as well. As I said, the side schemes, they come in, they're going to act as like any other side scheme. So if a villain gets a bonus for every side scheme in play, this is going to count towards that. You have thwart cards. This is going to work towards that. Quentin can put remove one thwart from a card. That would work on here. Magneto's ability to finish off a thwart or thwart. You could use it on these, finish off this scheme, and then getting his bonus of removing a hero action or whatever attachment. So that's 2 per player. So if you're playing a 4-player game, it would have 8. So it's a little bit hefty, but it is definitely worth it. So it also has Victory 0, which means once you defeat it, it gets removed from play, it goes to your victory pile. So that means you can't use this repeatedly. But what is also really great is each player gets one. So you're playing a 4-player game, you each get a brand new ally in your hand. And to be with that, we have 4 cards that aren't part of his direct deck, but we have Surge, part of the new X-Men, some of the teen characters, who has Noriko Ashida, 2-cost ally, 2 thwart, 2 attack. Has the new trait and X-Men, and 2 health. So it says link to new recruits, just to keep that in mind that goes with that. If you have the mutant or X-Men trait, Surge gets +1 attack and does not count against your ally limit. So yeah, as long as you can technically use this in any deck. You can use it with Captain America, use it with Spider-Man. They could summon a new mutant ally to come help you, which is really cool. But if you have the mutant or X-Men trait, she gains a bonus, and also doesn't count as your allies, so you can have more guys out. Touch one of my friends. I don't know why I gave her a southern accent. She's not southern. Touch one of my friends and you get 10,000 volts. Our next new mutant is Anol or Victor Brokowski. So they're all the same. 2 cost, 2 attack, 2 thwart, with a 2 health, so I'll say pretty much even that way. But his ability is, if you have a mutant or X-Men, he gets +1 thwart and does not count against your ally. So yeah, kind of like you give the card to whoever is going to maybe need it. Hey, I need more attack. They can take Surge. I need more thwarting. They can take Anol. Our next one is Bling Roxanne Washington. So 2 2s all around. If you have the mutant X-Men trait, she gains toughness and does not count against your ally limit. This school sucks. So she gets an extra, she can take an extra hit of damage. She can be a good defender for you. And then the last one is we have Indara Pires Gravoskar, who says, if you have the mutant X-Men trait, he gets +2 hit points and does not count against his ally. So he'll just be able to survive a couple more things, which means he can thwart or attack more or take an extra hit. So it kind of works all around. It's neat, because again, if you're playing a 4-player game, you can hang out each one of these, but if you're all playing X-Men, great, you can play them quick, you have an extra ally on the field, it doesn't affect your thing. If you're not, like one person's playing X-Men, one's playing Spider-Man, one's playing a Guardian of the Galaxy character, cool, you still get an extra ally you can potentially use for something. In worst cases, you have an extra energy trait to spend, at the bare minimum. Alright. So those guys, that is that. Then we have Magneto's regular basic cards. And of course, basic cards are always ones that can be put in any deck. Then we have White Queen, so we're kind of even sticking with the thing of Magneto's getting his allies are either the children, with the new recruits there, or they're all like adults or authority, like other leader figures, people would see more as equals. So we have White Queen. I love that they did call her the White Queen, Emma Frost, instead of just calling Emma Frost. Ever since she pretty much started running Generation X, most games I would just call her Emma Frost. I'm like, she's still the White Queen, regardless. 3 cost ally, 2 thwart, 1 attack. Sonic X-Men with 3 health. Play only if your Gengi has the X-Force or X-Men trait. Response: after White Queen enters play, discard a status card from a character. Oh, darling, I hardly need Sonic powers to manipulate you. Yes, it could be a great ally to pop in with some of them other effects, just for the idea of, I don't want to have to deal with their status card, their tough card, or again, your opponent might have a tough card you don't want to deal with, or maybe they gave you a stun card, right, and you don't want to have to deal with that, or a confused card. You can get rid of your own stuff, so it's kind of nice. It helps benefit you, either moving your negatives or removing your opponent's positives, which is really cool. Then we have 1 copy of Face the Past, 0 cost event, max 1 per deck. Wolverine Omega Red. Hero action: search the encounter deck, discard pile, and set aside area for your nemesis minion and reveal it. Your hero, ready your hero and draw 3 cards. You cannot attack this villain in this phase. Remove this card from the game. So this is kind of interesting, because if maybe you want to deal with, you're like, I have some good cards prepped, I'm at full health, this is a way to dig through the deck, find your nemesis minion, and take them out on your terms, as opposed to waiting for it to randomly pop up. So if you have a nemesis minion that you know could definitely be a pain if it comes at the wrong time, because usually nemesis minions have things that counteract whatever your character's main stuff is. So if your guys does a lot of attack, they'll have a thing that reduces your attack. If your guy plays a lot of equipment or attachment cards, they'll have a way to stop you from equipping stuff. So usually they do stuff like that. So this could be a great way to shut that down on your terms, which is always a good thing. Again, it's basic and it costs 0, so it could be easy to throw in any deck. Plus you draw 3 extra cards to start out with. Then we have 3 copies of Deft Focus, 1 cost upgrade skill, max 1 per player. Hero action: exhaust Deft Focus, reduce the resource cost of the next superpower card you play this turn by 1. This, again, in just about any character's deck, this could be super helpful to reduce one of their powers. Now, Magneto has his Bubble as a superpower, so that could be cheaper. His Electromagnetic Blast being down to 1. His Metal Shards being down to 1. His Magnetic Missile being 100% free. So those are all very helpful. I don't think any of the other cards in here are, superpowers. So it'll work definitely for Magneto. But it's also a card that could be a lot better utilized maybe in some other players' decks. But it's always fun to get those. Our last 3 basic are our regular resource. We have an Energy, a Genius, and a Strength. And I like that not every character has been getting them in every set now. They've been adding them periodically, which is nice, because eventually you start getting so many for every character. Some characters, they might not need them. They have enough good resource management yourself. Magneto can definitely use some more, because he's going to cycle through and play a lot of his cards quicker. Cool. Then we have his obligation, Old Grievances. Give to the air, then sure player. Forced response: after you use your magnetic pull ability, take 1 damage for each card discarded by it. Alter ego action: exhaust Eric Lensher, discard Old Grievances. Now this is a fun obligation because you can't get rid of it. It's always going to keep coming back. You can spend a turn exhausting your character to get rid of it for a while, but it's eventually going to recycle back around. And then the problem is, well, it's out. It's only going to hurt you if you use your magnetic pull. So you might be able to have this out for 2 or 3 turns, if, depending on what you need to do, and get away with not using it. Or you could take the risk, and you might take 1 damage. You could, again, unfortunate, and take 5 damage and almost kill yourself. Depending on how much health you have and all that. So it's kind of a risky thing to play around with if it's sitting out. But at least some of the obligations effectively shut your deck down, or take away your main thing. This does hurt you, but at least it's a gamble you can deal with. Alright, then we have our nemesis. So Magneto's nemesis is Exodus, which is kind of interesting. You would have thought his nemesis immediately would have been like Professor X, right? But again, it has to be a villain character. Exodus makes sense. He's one of his first acolytes, and when Magneto basically turned good, Exodus is like, no, you're supposed to be leading this and doing this and doing this, and he didn't like that. So he has 2 scheming, 2 attack with a condition, 6 health, acolyte, elite, and psionic. We've had acolytes before. In one of the expansions, when you fought Magneto, you had one of his acolyte things. So that's kind of cool. He has steady, so he's going to be able to take 2 status cards. He has tough, so he's going to start with 1, and he has villainous, so he gets an extra boost. Exodus is basically, what powers does he want to have? He has them type of guy. Force response. After Exodus attacks you, discard cards from the top of your deck equal to his total attack. So yeah, once he attacks, you're going to discard potentially 2 attack. But I'm going to guess he's going to have ways to boost that up. But yeah, losing 2 attacks every time is not always good either. We have our side scheme, Martyr for Mutants. Magneto's former acolytes felt betrayed by their leader's change of heart about his mutant and human coexistence. When defeated, the defeating player discards the top 9 cards of their deck, and it has a boost effect on there. And 3 per player. The defeating player discards top 9. So you have to plan for this, because you want to defeat this, you don't have the extra boost icon, but you're going to take a hit for it. So you're going to take 9 cards. Magneto could potentially come back for it. He could go as alter ego, spend a couple turns refreshing cards back into his deck. Other players might not get so lucky on that, so that's kind of devastating. We have a couple more minions that weren't part of the other acolyte sets, which is why this would be fun to mix them with there. We have Fabian Cortez, 2 steam, 2 attack, 4 health. He has guards, you have to defeat him first. When defeated, the defeated player discards the top 4 cards of their deck, and boost, discard the top 4 cards of your deck. They're going to keep trying to just basically weaken Magneto by getting rid of cards out of his deck. Which, again, his magnetic pull, he's getting rid of cards out of his deck to find stuff. Anyhow, but the thing is, if you pull too many times from that, you do too many pulls without stopping and refreshing your deck with your alter ego power, you're gonna run out of cards, and these guys are pushing him to the brink, is basically what they're doing. They're trying to run your deck out quicker to give that acceleration token on the schemes. That's what they want to do. We have Frenzy, 2 steam, 2 attack, 4 health. Quick Strike, so it's gonna hit you right away. It just jumps in and punches you in the face. Force response. After Frenzy attacks you, discard the top 2 cards of your deck, and boost, discard top 4 cards. So yeah, they're just trying to eliminate your deck as quickly as possible and get rid of your options. Magneto has a way to recover from that, but it takes him a little bit of time. But other characters aren't going to get so lucky. And then we have Angry Acolyte Treachery. When revealed, each Acolyte minion engaged with a player activates against that player. If no minion activates this way, discard cards. Top of your deck and reveal an Acolyte minion. Reveal that minion. So yeah, if this is also played, Magneto's playing against the deck with the Acolytes as one of the encounters, you're going to get more Acolyte cards to choose from, which are very interesting. Alright, so that was what we had for this, and we have the stop. This is just mentioning the pre-built part of the deck. Mention the 4 cards we showed were the new recruits, are just set aside, so they're not part of his deck, but they need to be set aside. There's his deck list in case you want a quick relook at that. Again, it doesn't show those other 4 cards on there, but they're tied in recruits. They probably should have put them down there at the bottom, but that's alright. Alright, then our last bunch of cards is we have 3 copies of an extra basic card. So this is really fun. Lots of characters are getting team-up cards. This is kind of like a really cool team-up card. So Children of the Atom, 1 support. Play under any player's control, max 1 per player. Each X-Force, X-Factor, and X-Men character you control gains the X-Force, X-Factor, and X-Men traits. So this is going to let you play any card that says one of the other things, as long as you have one of the other classifications. So I wonder if there's... So, like, just as a quick example, we even have our new mutants here. So you have to have mutant or X-Men trait to make these guys free. If you have this card out, all of a sudden now all your X-Force and X-Factor characters can use them just as well. Or it's gonna potentially let you play this card. Play this card only if your X-Men has the X-Men trait. You could play one of the other ones. You could drop this card out. A little bit of combat to like build up to that, but it definitely helps. Or even something like this one, a little bit different is if you have X-Force or X-Men trait. Well, if you're playing one of the X-Factor characters, the few ones there, or if they when they add more later or whatever. Yeah, just a neat way to like make all them guys if they have an ability that's specific to them. Same thing, some of the X-Force guys have stuff that only applies to the X-Force because it's stuff their team would do, like the X-Men might not. This is going to let you kind of mix and match all them different groups together. Alright, then the last thing we have is an extra encounter group. So we have the Hellfire, which is the Hellfire Club. It's, some powerful mutants that kind of parade around almost as human, running a secret society, and then they do shady stuff in the background. So Sebastian Shaw. 1 steam, 2 attack. He has Hellfire, and he has 5. I think we have some other Hellfire characters in one of the other sets as well. Just kind of ties in with them guys as well. Toughness, Villainous, Force Response. After Sebastian Shaw's attack, give him a face-down boost card. He cannot be attacked again this phase. Never raise your hands to your better surf. Yeah, so this kind of works with his mutant power, is he absorbs any sort of kinetic energy into him. So if you're punching him, he's going to get stronger. So yeah, you're going to take him down. You're going to take him down in one shot, or he's going to be harder to take down the next time. We have the Black Queen, Selene. 1 steam, 1 attack, 4 health. Quick Strike, Villainous. Allies cannot attack Selene. Ooh, so you have to take her out only your main character. Boost. Discard an ally you control. Foolish child. Countless thousands have gone through fire in my name. We have Hellfire Punk. I wish we had more than one of these guys. But they're 1 steam, 2 attack, 3 health. Guard, patrol, and surge. Well, a minion with the patrol keyword is engaged with you cannot thwart the main steam. So guard protects them from attacking the other characters other than them, and then the patrol means you can't steam either. Boost, put a Hellfire Pawn into play engaged with you. So you have to find one of these guys. We have their side steam, which is the Inner Circle. The Inner Circle of the Hellfire Club uses its wealth and power to plot the course of mutant affairs in secret. When revealed, place 2 additional threats here for each Hellfire card in play. Ooh, that could be pretty bad. Especially if there is more Hellfire cards in other encounters. And then the last card we have is Power and Decadence. When revealed, give the villain a tough status card. Give this card to the villain as a face-down boost, and then the boost says, after this activation, the activating enemy activates against you. Do not give the boost for that activation. So you're giving them a tough status card. They're kind of hiding, and then they pop out and attack you anyhow. So pretty crazy there. Alright, that is what we have for this deck. I lost my Magneto card somewhere. There he is. There's good old Magneto. Yes, this is a fun, interesting deck. Has some good add-on support. I think Magneto's idea of being able to dig through his deck, sacrificing his deck as a resource to find cards he specifically needs for the tool he needs, but then having a way to slowly rebuild that up. Very thematic for him. Uses all his power and big show display, then he needs to kind of recuperate a bit. But then we have all this cool extra stuff where you can add like the new mutants, or you can add some other leader X-Men character. And then even using the X-Men allies as potential resources. It kind of leads to a little bit of that still sinister Magneto in there. He realizes that, yeah, I need to protect mutants, but sometimes, I need to use them as tools as well. It's just a really fun idea. Alright, again, that was the last of the X-Men stuff we have. So the next sets that will be coming out will be the big campaign box for S.H.I.E.L.D., which will get some S.H.I.E.L.D. characters. We'll see what they tie into. I imagine we'll have some more spy stuff. So I mean, like things like Black Widow will probably come back into play. Yeah, I wasn't sure what they were going to do after this, but that's a cool way to go. And we're getting back down to more like because we went Avengers, we had some big Avenger cool threats in there. Then we went Guardians, we went to space, we had Spider-Man, some multiversal stuff. X-Men with all their gigantic mutant threats, and now we're going a little bit almost back almost even before the core set to like base villains. Like there's still villainous threats, but we'll be going back into like some more like ground level, like non-world threatening characters as like MODOK and Batroc and stuff. So I'll be kind of interested to go back to more of like the lesser cosmic threat type things we have to deal with, but they're still going to be pretty vicious. So see what they do with that. Hope you guys are enjoying these videos. Check out the other Marvel Champions. If you haven't, hit me up in the comments if there's anything else you'd like to see me go over or re-go through. See you guys later. Bye.